What an exciting and thumping performance to kickstart Hong Kong FinTech Week. Ladies and gentlemen, another round of applause for our performers. Distinguished guests, industry leaders, innovators, ladies and gentlemen, a very good morning and welcome to the 9th edition of Hong Kong FinTech Week. My name is Robin Lamsam and I'm delighted to be your host on this very special occasion. As we gather here today, let us remember that the success of our FinTech ecosystem is a collective effort. The collaboration between the government, the public sector, and private enterprises has been pivotal in fostering an environment where innovation can thrive, complementing this year's theme, illuminating new pathways in FinTech. We would like to take this opportunity to acknowledge our event organizers, the Financial Services and the Treasury Bureau, and Invest Hong Kong of the Hong Kong SAR government. Co-organizers, the Hong Kong Monetary Authority, Securities and Futures Commission, and Insurance Authority, and our officially appointed event organizer, Finiverse, for putting together this incredible lineup, as well as our partners and sponsors for their tremendous support. Over the coming days, get ready to be inspired, challenged, and connected. We will delve into the latest developments in AI, blockchain technology, digital currencies, and regulatory technology. We will engage in insightful discussions, forge valuable partnerships, and collectively shape the future of finance. Hong Kong FinTech Week serves as an opportunity to learn, collaborate, and innovate. Together, we can unlock the transformative power of FinTech and create a more inclusive, efficient, and sustainable financial landscape for all. But before we continue, we'd like to extend a very warm welcome not only to everyone present, but also to the millions of international viewers watching virtually. Do remember to download the event app Hong Kong FinTech Week 2024 for networking purposes and to view our conference programs, speaker bios, and panel synopses. You would have received an email containing details on the Brella app, and if you need further assistance, we have an event app help desk outside in the main corridor. And finally, simultaneous translation is available here at Hong Kong FinTech Week. Headsets are available to the side of the stage. Channel 1 will be in English, and Channel 2 will be in Mandarin. And now, without further ado, to kick off Hong Kong FinTech Week 2024, please give a warm welcome to the Honourable Mr. Paul Chan, Financial Secretary of the Government of the Hong Kong Special Administrative Region. Mr. Chan.
Director Xu Weigang, Director Fu Xiaochuo, Chris Salina, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good morning to you all. And welcome to Hong Kong FinTech Week 2024. And a very special welcome to the innovators, founders, investors, and delegations from over 100 countries and regions. Hong Kong is emerging fast as one of the most attractive global FinTech hubs. In the first half of this year, among the top 10 FinTech deals in the Asia-Pacific region, 3 were in the mainland and 2 in Hong Kong. That means, ladies and gentlemen, you are in the right spot in searching for the FinTech opportunities that lie ahead. Our latest figures tell the vibrancy of our ecosystem. At present, we house more than 1,100 FinTech and Web3 companies, an increase of about 15% from the figure last year. Many of these companies are coming from outside Hong Kong. This year, the 60 companies that Invest Hong Kong has assisted are bringing in investments exceeding $2.4 billion US. Indeed, during my recent trips to Australia, Europe, and the United States, many FinTech and other startups have shown great interest in coming to this city to establish their business. Hong Kong's open, free, diverse environment and burgeoning innovation and technology ecosystem, full range of financial services, deep talent pool, pro-business, pro-innovation regulatory system, the Greater Bay Area and the Greater China application scenarios, and the ability to connect both China and the world are clear points of attraction. Not only are we attracting US, Europe, and mainland FinTech firms, we are reaching out to the Middle East too. This afternoon, I will be leading a delegation of more than 100 members from the Hong Kong financial and innovation circles to Saudi Arabia. One of our local startups will be signing a deal with its Saudi counterpart there. Big companies and big numbers aside, the core element of a vibrant FinTech ecosystem is the entrepreneurship of FinTech startups. In other words, the drive for excellency, the will to make financial services more competitive, inclusive, and accessible, and ultimately to make our lives better. Hong Kong has no lack of such FinTech startups with these visions and spirit. I'm sure you will be able to meet many of them in the FinTech Week. At this same event last year, I talked about a FinTech company nurtured in our science park, using AI and big data to power a credit risk model, helping SMEs to obtain bank loans without the necessity of providing collaterals. That company, I'm pleased to know, had obtained facilities from global banks worth some $750 million in just 1 year's time. With such financial backing, this startup has truly made impactful contributions to the SMEs and to the real economy. Looking to the future, two areas are definitely dominating the scene of FinTech: blockchain and AI. For both, the government holds the same principle. We embrace new technologies as they unlock new innovations in the financial world. Yet we are mindful of the possible risks they may create to consumers, investors, and the financial system at large. That is why a balanced, proportionate regulation is necessary, which is good for their sustainable and healthy development in the long term. Take digital assets as an example. That is why we have put in place a licensing regime last year for digital asset trading platforms based on the same activity, same risks, same regulation principle. Among the licensing conditions are segregating clients' money, conducting due diligence on virtual asset products, and taking on anti-money laundering obligations. We have issued 3 licenses so far. Meanwhile, the SFC is assessing the legal and regulatory compliance of those deemed service providers. We expect more licenses will be issued in the next couple of months. As to stablecoins, the Hong Kong MA has already launched a stablecoin issuer sandbox in March to allow interested parties to conduct testing and facilitate two-way communications on the proposed regulatory requirements, ensuring that such requirements are fit for purpose. It is our plan to introduce the legislation this year. We are also reviewing the design of the regulatory framework for over-the-counter trading activities of digital assets. A second round consultation will be conducted next year before we introduce the licensing regime for VA custodian service providers. The transformative power of AI across different industries and sectors needs no explanation. In the financial market, AI is driving innovation in risk management, enhancing customer services, streamlining operations, preventing financial crime, and much more. This combination of AI and finance is also setting new standards for excellency and innovation. Like any other emerging technologies, we must not just eye on reaping AI's benefits, but should also seek to address the potential challenges, such as cybersecurity, data privacy, the protection of intellectual property rights, and concerns about its impact on jobs and ethics. This is the reason why this morning the government is rolling out a policy statement to set out our policy stance and regulatory approach towards the responsible application of AI in financial services. We consider it appropriate to adopt a dual-track model to AI. We will continue to encourage the adoption of AI to capture the opportunities while assess its associated risks from time to time and mitigate them. In this connection, the government, the financial regulators, and the industry will work closely to provide a clear supervisory framework and create a conducive and sustainable market environment. My colleagues, Chris, Secretary for Financial Services and the Treasury, will be giving you a thorough presentation on this AI policy. Ladies and gentlemen, all I have outlined here are just a glimpse of the many facets of Hong Kong's FinTech scene. The rest is for you to explore. I trust the fruitful series of discussions are going to help us envision the future of financial services and inspire us with new possibilities. I wish you all the best of health and business in the years to come. And for our participants from overseas, do enjoy Hong Kong. Autumn is the best timing to visit us, try our restaurants, and also the hiking trails. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chan. Next, to deliver his keynote address, please welcome Mr. Christopher Ho, Secretary for Financial Services and the Treasury, the Government of the Hong Kong Special Administrative Region. Mr. Ho.
Good morning, everyone. Just now, you have heard our Financial Secretary sharing with you our latest development in FinTech, and I'm sure all of you are paying to get into this room. So to make sure that you are maximizing the coming 20 minutes, getting the best value out of your money, apart from myself, today we have an AI friend who's locally born, locally bred, at the same time share with us here today. Hello, Evelyn.
Hello, Chris. Hello, everyone.
As all of you know, one of my key roles is to share the Hong Kong success stories. What do you think, Hong Kong? Do you agree that Hong Kong is an international financial center?
Yes. Hong Kong's status as a leading international financial center is backed by its robust financial infrastructure, strong regulatory framework, and prime location in Asia-Pacific. The city's global appeal is clear, with events like Hong Kong FinTech Week drawing 30,000 attendees from over 100 economies.
Today, people will come here not just to talk about FinTech generally, but also specifically about AI and blockchain. So do you agree that AI is going to replace humans?
While AI can automate many tasks, it's unlikely to fully replace humans. Unique human traits like creativity, emotional intelligence, and critical thinking remain difficult for AI to replicate.
So back to something more personal note. How do you find my look today?
I can't say for sure, but I believe beauty comes from our inside qualities. It's about confidence and how you carry yourself. If you feel good, that shines through.
So that's a very diplomatic answer. So moving on to the presentation I'm going to share with you. As all of you know, there are key drivers in FinTech globally. One is about AI, and one is about blockchain. So if being asked the overall approach that this government is taking in terms of embracing these key new trends, basically what we try to do is to make it or integrate it further into our mainstream finance. But of course, in the course of so doing, there are risks and also opportunities. And that's why what we need to do and have been doing is to make sure that we get the 3 Ps right, which is about policy, which is about the pull, which is about pull factors, and also about the people. And based on this framework, I'm going to share with you all later on around AI and blockchain, what we have done and what we plan to do. As preluded by Paul just now about our policy statement on AI, the key word we want to emphasize here is responsible. Because after all, as I highlighted, there are risks and also opportunities arising from AI application. And in that regard, you may ask, why now and also why Hong Kong? The answer is very simple. On the one hand, Hong Kong is uniquely blessed under one country, two systems to have a very rich and also vast financial services market. Look at these figures. If we talk about the market cap of stock market, our total deposits in our banking system, and also our asset under management, they are all ranging from 5 to 10 times our GDP. So accessing Hong Kong, you're not just about Hong Kong. It's about a regional and global market, many times of our GDP. And at the same time, another context I'm going to share with you is where we are located. As part of the same country, we are part of the mainland where over 60% of AI patents globally can be found. And at the same time, we are uniquely positioned, connecting East and West, globally positioned to connect with the rest of the world. And that's why if you come here, you are basically at the forefront of East meets West insofar as AI application is concerned. And you may ask, what have we done so far, in particular our private sector, in embracing AI? And today, outside this room, there are 2 booths, or 2 sets of booths. One is about our domestic, locally bred FinTech companies, many of them like Eflin. At the same time, another room is accommodating a host of international FinTech players. And that's why, if you look at the current adoption rate of AI in our financial service sector, it's as high as 38%, which is far exceeding the global average of 26. So on that basis, we have a very solid foundation. And the next thing that we should do is to further enhance it and to make sure that it will continue to grow and develop. Again, this backdrop, after this session, you're going to see the responsible AI policy statement that this government has issued in financial services. And the idea is to set out broadly what are the principles and also the approach that we are taking to grow this sector. Fundamentally, we see AI, which can be categorized in 3 Ds. First of all, it is a data-driven business, driven a lot of data. At the same time, it is a double-edged sword, i.e. it presents both risks and opportunities. And for risk, many of them are specific to AI per se, and also some others are generic to different types of financial services. And that's why we, on the one hand, have to be general in terms of application regulation, yet at the same time has to be specific in some areas where AI is presenting peculiar risks, which I'm going to share later. And finally, as all of you can imagine, AI right now is at an early stage. And that's why everyone you talk to are about what they are doing and plan to do. But at the same time, we have to be aware that it is a very dynamic process. Things may change. And that's why when we try to iron out or to lay out our regulatory approach and processes, we have to make sure it's going to move with times. In particular, to ensure that what we have to do is not stifling the development of this sector. And that's why the dual approach or dual track approach that we are taking is, on the one hand, as you can see on this slide, about promoting development to ensure that despite the fact that we are already highly utilizing AI in various types of financial services in our sector, from front end, mid end to back end, we have to ensure that we are always at the forefront globally. That's number one. And number two, in terms of extracting challenges, we have to look at not just generic ones, but also specific ones, like hallucination and others, to ensure that we have the right governance and also have the right mitigation measures. So this is all about our AI policy statement and also set the overall framework in terms of how we devise this policy statement. So moving on, about risks and also challenges, definitely, as I highlighted, many of them are generic. As you can see on the left-hand side of this PowerPoint, like data protection, proper governance, and also transparency and protection to customers, and in particular, operational resilience. Because after all, AI is a highly data-driven business, at the same time highly dependent on technologies. So we have to have the right operational resilience plans in place in case of issues and problems in a systemic manner. So all these are rather generic that you normally come across, not just for AI, but generally for any tech application in our financial service sector. But moving on, we also have to highlight, in particular, some of the specific risks that it's very specific to AI. And that's why on the right-hand side, there are some unique risks, so to speak, that are specific to AI. For example, hallucination, which I'm sure people heard a lot, in terms of people saying something, but actually, which is not true. But at the same time, there is the potential danger of so-called model drift. So the idea is, even though it is AI, it's also very much like humans, where we can get lazier, and also we may get less incentive to work eventually. So of course, when you are human, I can observe from your output and also from your behavior that you are getting lazier. But if we can't explain fully how AI works and it's getting lazier, the output you can get out of it may not be up to the standard you desire, and also potentially may make you going astray in terms of making certain decisions, if you are making decisions based on the analytics being provided by the AI. And that's why these are the risks that are specific to AI that we have to bear in mind. That said, apart from the model drift, and other unique risks about AI is about the prompt injection attack. So idea is that, of course, we try to make sure that AI is working promptly within our set parameters, but at the same time, AI, like humans, we could be tricked. We become fooled to do something which are not supposed to do. So I'm sure that you have many personal experiences in that regard. So what we try to do is to make sure that the system is something that is subject to human oversight, back to the governance issue, in such a way that we can explain the process, explain the outcome, yet at the same time understand and also prevent or mitigate the specific risk that could be only found in AI. But of course, the final risk, which I'm sure everyone talk about and also have come across, is about deepfakes. But I can assure all of you, so what you see here today is the real me, so it's not a deepfake image or figure. Now we have come to the point where we issue a policy statement on responsible AI. But of course, it's actually a journey in terms of where we are coming from. Because apart from this bureau, other organs of the government, including our Technology Bureau, our Data Protection Commission, and also our Economic Development Bureau, from the patent perspective, has been going all out in terms of devising different measures based on their own purview to ensure that AI can grow responsibly in Hong Kong. And that's why if you look at this journey, so to speak, from the ITIB, which is an Information Technology Development Blueprint, and also from the angle of protection of AI technology development in terms of copyright, and also the protection of personal data, basically it's a journey in terms of how we have to ensure, through a whole government approach, AI can grow responsibly here in Hong Kong. But of course, all these parameters and framework is only relevant when we have the right use cases, when we have the right applications. That's why the government taking the lead is having many of our departments doing their own work in terms of adopting AI in their own domain. Like, for example, our Census Statistics Department basically are using AI to analyze on a regular basis the customs data to make sure that when they see the word apple on the customs declaration, it's not the fruits that you see in the garden, but the Apple computer that is imported to Hong Kong. So all these is something that is relevant, at the same time ongoing. But of course, government aside, and other key stakeholders of our ecosystem is our regulators. So you can see that throughout this process, we have our banking regulator, securities regulator, insurance regulator, MPFA, our pension fund regulator, which have been doing a lot and about to do a lot more, try to regulate or to steer this sector to grow in a responsible fashion. So many of the leaders are here today, and I'm going to leave it to them to share with you what they are going to do on this front. Because after all, what we are trying to envisage is there will be a clear supervisory framework to create a conducive environment for AI application here in Hong Kong. So enough on policies, because I'm sure that people are quite bored if you talk about policies all the time. Another key element is about the pull factors that we have to put in place to make sure that there is a wider adoption of AI in our financial service sector. And in that regard, one key pull factor is to make available the facilities in such a way that people who want to use it can use it. And that's why there are lots of models now being developed. And one of them, which we're going to share more later today and this week, is the LLM model being developed by our HKUST. And the idea is that, first of all, it's going to make their model available for use, not just for the big firms, but also the small firms in the financial service sector, including accounting and others, in such a way that they can try for themselves how AI can improve their work processes. And the other key aspect of that plan is that, apart from availability, by allowing API and also web interface interactions with their system, is to make sure that the system and also at the same time the models to be developed can be really tuned to our local conditions. Because as all of you know, Hong Kong, even though we're a national financial center, a lot of the things that we said and a lot of things that we do will be quite peculiar to our own market. Like, for example, if we talk about a stock code with the word W, right? What does it mean globally? It means in Hong Kong, weighted voting right. If you have a stock code with the word S, what does it mean? It means secondary listing. So all these are very peculiar local linguistic requirements and also adaptations that the model has to learn before they can respond to our needs of our intermediaries here. And that's why, apart from offering their model to the wider use, big and small, of our financial service sector, they are also helping to fine-tune the models in such a way that they can learn, at the same time try to attune their models to the needs of the wider community here. Because after all, apart from international players like all of you, we also have to cater for local players. And also for international players to access our market, they also have to understand our local conditions. And that's why this adaptation or also fine-tuning is so important, which will be make available to the broader community of our financial services. Of course, apart from policy and pull factors, another key trend is about people. And you have heard a lot from our chief executive and others about our efforts to draw more talent to Hong Kong. And right now, if you talk about experienced professionals in FinTech, in particular, AI and also blockchain is already included in our talent list for various types of our immigration programs. And if you look at the proportion of these talents, which is approved to come in as overall proportion of the admission in financial services, it takes up a percentage as high as more than 30%. And that's why you can see that among the financial service sector, more than a third, or about to be a third, of those allowed to come in are basically with these expertise. But of course, we are not ignoring the local talent, because apart from bringing in the outside talent, we hope them to come here to get embedded, deep-rooted, and also grow our local talent. And that's why the efforts by our universities, as I highlighted just now, is so very important. Another pull factor, which is relevant not just to AI, but also to our virtual asset efforts, is to make sure that we continuously have the right conducive environment for blockchain, in particular their financial application in VA to grow. And so far, we have been going all out, basically, to enhance our role to develop Hong Kong as an asset management center. And among them, we are being asked all the time in terms of what are the incentives, what are the support physically from the government in terms of growing this sector. If you look at right now, our law to provide tax incentives, we already allow tax incentives for some privately offered funds, as you can see on the left-hand side of the PowerPoint, and also for the family investment holding vehicles, so long as they meet our requirements and also they invest in certain assets within those funds and also by those entities, we give them tax concession. So the thing that we are going to do by the end of this year to put in the law is to include in these asset classes more than those that are already found, to include some of those that we are trying to develop here in Hong Kong, like, for example, virtual asset, as you can see in the blue bracket, and also our private credit market, which has been booming. So we hopefully, by expanding the availability of tax concession to this wider scope of asset eligible under our fund regime and also our family office regime, we will be able to add an extra impetus and pull to this market on their development front. Another angle, which is not just about AI and also not just about blockchain in terms of tax concession, is about what we're going to do on the policy front going forward for our virtual asset development. If you recall, 2 years ago, in this forum, we announced a policy statement for virtual asset, and thereafter, we put in place into law a virtual asset trading platform regime, which is about the regulation of a service. And by the end of this year, you will envisage that we will have a regulation on the products front of stablecoins to be put into law. And going forward next year, what we plan to do is, first of all, on the service front, we will regulate in terms of services, custodians, by devising the right regime. At the same time, we also consult the market broadly in terms of the OTC trading of virtual assets. It's another service that's already found in Hong Kong, and hopefully we can, by embracing a broader scope of service regulation, we'll be able to grow this market further. So, as you can see, AI is very powerful, not just allow us to see images beyond ourselves, but also very powerful in terms of words. And that's why today, apart from myself and Evelyn, we also have with you a global figure in literature who's very good at words, Shakespeare, right? So we've asked him in terms of his views, and basically I require him to do a poem on how AI can be responsibly applied in Hong Kong. And also at the same time, it allows us to go back in time, in history, to really talk direct to a famous figure as famous as him. So let's see what he has to say about our policy statement on responsible AI application.
In Hong Kong's realm, a policy shall rise to guide the hand of man with thought divine and govern Ari's dance 'neath watchful skies. In finance, where the algorithms play, with fairness sought and justice as our light, to guard against the shadows that may sway. With guidance firm, let progress find its way, in harmony with trust, let AI grow and stay.
So the key word, apart from responsible, is trust. And so long as we can trust the application of technology and also to ensure it can be responsibly adopted in Hong Kong, I'm sure that AI, blockchain, and others can continue to grow in Hong Kong. So looking forward to see you next year, as it will be the 10th anniversary of FinTech Week, and we will have more to share with you then. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ho. And now may I call upon Mr. Eddie Yu, Chief Executive of the Hong Kong Monetary Authority, to deliver his keynote address.